other news, federal government promises completion of second Niger bridge by 2022. Kaduna government files fresh charges against El Zakzaki. And banned Nigerian athletes hold protest in Tokyo. A warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari says the importance of education to a country and individuals cannot be overemphasized, adding that it is difficult to succeed without education. President Buhari said this during a panel discussion on the Thursday at the Global Education Summit in London. While commenting that Nigerian parents don't joke with education, Buhari noted the size and population of the country are challenges for any administration. Buhari hailed parents for making sacrifices to ensure that their children and wards receive an education. The National Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, says the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is ready to undertake some infrastructural projects which have been abandoned for as far as 50 years. Speaking at the weekly ministerial briefing organized by the presidential media team, Managing Director of the NSIA, Uche Oji, said the completion of such projects would further strengthen Nigeria's economy. Details in this report. Nigeria has a number of long-standing and abandoned infrastructural projects scattered across different parts of the country. One of them is a second Niger bridge, a project which kicked off in September 2018. The National Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, says it has now taken up the task of addressing some of these issues. Managing Director of the NSIA, Uche Oji, assures that the construction of the second Niger bridge will be completed by 2022.
The phase one will be completed 2022. We're starting work on the access road, which takes us, again, for those who may or may not know the area. If you're coming from Benin, you have to, before you get to Asaba Airport, you bypass into a new road we're constructing. So the road will bypass Asaba completely, bypass Onitsha, and then come out going towards Owerri. Now, there are two other smaller bridges that will take you back into Onitsha and Asaba. I thought to show this because I think, again, this has been something that's been in the works from when I was in primary school, and that was a very long time ago. And finally, under this administration, through the PIDF, is getting done.
The NSIA boss also clarified misconceptions about the costs of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway when compared to the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway.
Abuja-Kaduna-Kano initial scope was to rehabilitate 92.5 kilometers, but we've changed it to full reconstruction of the entire road. Something very funny came up. Somebody said it was the most expensive road in the world, blah, 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 and it's not. Okay, let me start by making sure I correct that impression. It is not. When you look at road construction, what you look at is costs per kilometer per lane. You don't just say cost per lane. It doesn't work like that. Cost per kilometer, it doesn't work like that. Lagos-Ibadan is 6 lanes. This is 4 lanes, okay? When we have done the math, the numbers are very clear. Lagos-Ibadan, because of the terrain, more expensive. This one, because of the terrain, per kilometer per lane, not as expensive. It's just a very long road.
On Nigeria's vast mineral deposits, Oji said the agency is ready to invest into the nation's untapped resources.
Phase 2, there's phosphate in Sokoto, not yet tapped. We are going to invest in making sure that that phosphate is beneficiated and used locally. Phase 3, there is potash in Bauchi running all the way to Gombe to Benue State. Again, not tapped. These are the things we're going to spend time on. Ultimately, when the PFI program is completed, you will hardly see us import anything because all of these things are in Nigeria.
The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF, according to the NSIA boss, has recorded remarkable success in delivering its mandate, especially in the local production of fertilizer through the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the internal review of the allegation leveled against Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari, over his alleged involvement in a multi-million-dollar fraud perpetrated by Ramon Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy, who has pleaded guilty to money laundering in the United States court. A U.S. court yesterday issued a warrant of arrest for Super Detective Abba Kyari for his alleged role in a multi-million-dollar fraud perpetrated by Hush Puppy and his co-conspirators. Confirming the probe, police spokesman Frank Uba, in a statement issued yesterday, said he called the receipt of allegation and the indictment processes from the FBI against one of the personnel of the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, DCP Abba Kyari. The IGP, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered an investigation over the allegations. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has demanded a thorough investigation into the allegation of bribery brought against celebrated detective and Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari. According to a U.S. court document, suspected fraudster Abbas Ramon, popularly known as Hush Puppy, had alleged that he bribed Kyari to arrest one of his rivals in Nigeria after a dispute over a $1.1 million scam. Kyari has, however, denied demanding or receiving money from Hush Puppy. The PDP, in a statement issued by its spokesman, Kola Olobodunyo, described the allegations as worrisome, disturbing, and a stain on the integrity of the country. The opposition party also warned that the matter must not be swept under the carpet. To discuss this issue further, I'm joined now by legal practitioner Evans Ufeli. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, the issue of Abba Kyari's alleged involvement with self-confessed fraudster Abbas Ramon, popularly known as Hush Puppy, has really gained traction. But how do you think all of these allegations portray Nigeria, especially in our fight against corruption?
Well, the allegation has put Nigeria in a bad light. Before now, our reputation as regards internet fraud have been that is of a great fracture of our states. Nigeria is known all over the world for this kind of thing. And right now, we are getting to see that even law enforcement agents, by the allegations before Abba Kyari, even law enforcement agents are also part of the conspirators from the feelers we are getting. I think it is not a good news at all for a police officer that has vowed to fight crime. One would have expected that there will be a high level of discipline and adherence to the professional duty of the said policeman, Abba Kyari. But it appears that he has been caught up by the antics of an alleged fraudster. Now he's been linked to even an operation, where the alleged fraudster Hush Puppy had used him in an occasion to, punish someone who possibly was also in concert with Hush Puppy in the course of the fraudulent transactions that is being alleged to have committed. This should be a warning to all law enforcement agents. We know how sometimes big men and so-called rich people order policemen to go fight their enemies. And so many police officers are guilty of this. And this is exactly what has happened here. The allegations of the funds that was transferred to him and the rest of it, subject to investigation, we think that it is not a good taste in the mouth of Nigerians and then to the world in general if the citizens are found culpable of fraudulent activity. Law enforcement agents that stand as the face of the government of the country should not be found wanting in that regard, especially when a police officer is supposed to maintain law and order to ensure that criminals are weeded off of society. Where the police officer now becomes the prime suspect, like we have it here, then I think we have a very long way to go. We need to take a second look at our recruitment of our police officers to make sure that we weed off bad eggs among them and maintain those who have chosen integrity, which is actually the hallmark of the profession. Anything other than that.
Here, legal practitioner Evans Ufeli, but thank you so much for your contributions and thank you for your time. Barely 48 hours after embattled Shiite leader Ibrahim El-Zakzaky was discharged and acquitted, the Kaduna State government has filed fresh charges against the cleric again. A Kaduna State High Court had on Wednesday discharged and acquitted El-Zakzaky and his wife Zinat from the 8 charges pressed against them by the state government. Not satisfied with the ruling, the state government filed fresh 7 charges against the IMN leader at the Federal High Court. The State Director of Public Prosecution, Darius Bayero, who spoke to newsmen, disclosed that the charges borders on terrorism and treasonable felony against the state and the federal government. Bayero added that with the fresh charges, the court will consequently issue an order for the arrest of El-Zakzaky for him to answer the charges. Super TV Chief Executive Officer Usifo Ataga, who was murdered by his lover, has been buried at Ebony Vaults, Ikoyi, Lagos. Ataga was buried on Friday afternoon in a low-key ceremony attended by his family members, including his wife and friends. Journalists were, however, restricted from covering some aspects of the burial. 50-year-old Ataga was found lifeless on June 16 at a short-let apartment where he had checked in with his lover, who was identified as Chidima Ujuku, a 300-level mass communication student at the University of Lagos. The 21-year-old was consequently arrested and paraded at the Lagos State Police Command headquarters in Ikeja for murder. Moving on, the Lagos State government has empowered about 3,000 agric entrepreneurs with productive assets and inputs under the 2021 Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Activation Program. Women, youths and peasant farmers who were the main beneficiaries of the program gathered at the parade ground of the Police College in Ikeja to receive the material support from Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. On his part, Governor Sanwo-Olu disclosed that the scheme is to make life easier for farmers in the state. Our correspondent Abisola Adebayo has details.
Program is one of the agro strategies initiated by the Lagos State government to support agric entrepreneurs with modern equipment and input to help scale up their businesses. At the kickoff of the distribution of relevant equipment and tools to beneficiaries, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the intervention was necessitated by the need to enhance food security and also create more jobs for residents of the state.
The Agricultural Value Chain Enterprise Activation Program is a clear demonstration and a commitment of our administration to the development and expansion of the agricultural sector in Lagos State, which is driven by a farm-to-table model which aligns with making Lagos a 21st century economy.
What we are doing here today is activating businesses. Over 3,000 of you would be beneficiaries of the largesse of the Lagos State government. And we want you to understand that agriculture is agribusiness. Essentially, what we are doing is setting you up in businesses such that you could also have more people join you to increase the employment pool for Lagos State.
Sanwo-Olu describes the intervention scheme as another milestone in fulfilling his administration's promise to making Lagos a 21st century economy.
We want to make life easier to all our farmers and agricultural workers. And therefore, pleased to note that Lagos State government has put in place a strategy to propel the utilization and the continuous maintenance of these assets. We believe this program is for our farming youth. We believe that we want to create businesses for you, we want to create opportunity for you. We want the tech business that is being led by the youth to take the front row.
Some of the beneficiaries, full of praises to the state government, also promised to judiciously deploy the tools for the intended purposes.
I want to thank you, our Honorable Governor, for keeping the hope of Lagos State. And we will continue to thank our Lagos State Governor for the unwavering support for women farmers. And we promise to be the kind of farmers that will set the pace for agriculture.
The scheme is part of Governor Sanwo-Olu's 5-year agricultural and food system development roadmap, launched to chart a coordinated path for the desired development of the agric sector and boost food security in Lagos. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, banned Nigerian athletes hold protests in Tokyo. Details of this and more after the break. back. Well, now to remind of some of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says nobody can succeed outside their educational qualification. Hence, Nigerians are aware of the priority of education. Speaking on Thursday during a panel session at the Global Education Summit in London, United Kingdom, the president said his administration is committed to raising the budget for education by 50% in the next 2 years, adding that Nigeria will attain 100% budgetary increase by 2025. We also told you that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the internal review of the allegation leveled against Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, of his alleged involvement in a multi-million-dollar fraud perpetrated by Ramon Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy, who has pleaded guilty to money laundering in a United States court. In case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Nigeria's COVID-19 figures have continued to rise, with 558 new infections recorded across various parts of the country on Thursday. The figure is 4.3% higher than the 535 cases reported on Wednesday. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, in its recent update on the outbreak, showed Lagos recorded an alarming number of 376 infections, while Oyo State and Akwa Ibom had 33 and 26 cases respectively. The NCDC said 44 persons were discharged after recovering from the infection, while 2 persons died of the virus. So far, 178,821 cases have been confirmed, with 164,930 recoveries across the country. To deliberate more on the rising cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, I'm now joined by public health expert Dr. Nsiebasi Ekanem. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, what do you make of the recent surge in COVID-19 cases? Now, is this an indication of a third wave?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the third wave is here, and it's been orchestrated in Nigeria by the advent of the Delta variant of COVID-19. We were informed that the virus was detected earlier on in Oyo State, in Lagos and in Ekiti. But right now, we have had a surge in community transmission of the virus to many other states. And this has accounted for an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases that we have. So yes, we are already in the third wave of COVID-19. And this is really predominantly the Delta variant, and this comes with new challenges which calls for new measures to contain the spread of the virus.
Well, indeed, public health expert Dr. Nsiebasi Ekanem, thank you very much for your contributions. We'll take a break here and return with more stories and business to stay with us. Well, up next is business news and stock market review with Abisola Adebayo. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. Chief executive officers of several banks have held an emergency meeting to formulate a strategy on how to ensure compliance with the new Forex Directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Group Managing Director of Access Bank PLC, Albert Wigwe, made this known during a webinar organized to give an update on the bank's preparedness to be the main channel of forex distribution as directed by the CBN. The executives assured the public that banks would make forex available to customers in accordance with the Apex Bank's directives. Meanwhile, the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has assured members of the public that BDC operators are still providing foreign exchange services. ABCON said while the dollar sale from the Central Bank of Nigeria had helped in enhancing supply, the fact remains that BDCs were empowered to source forex from other sources and also to provide various services to members of the public. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is set to commence the use of digital currency, which is tagged e-Naira, by October 2021. According to the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who announced the move at the end of the bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the decision would make transactions cheaper and more efficient as there will be less conflict. Emefiele added that the e-Naira, which will represent the digital equivalent of cash, will be used as flat currency for transactions.
Digital currency is what central banks all over the world, they are providing as an alternative to the current money arrangement. What are we saying? You have some Naira in your account and you choose to convert part of your Naira into a digital wallet by way of a digital currency. We would support that. If, for instance, you have 10 million Naira in your account, you go to your bank. So, of course, when this starts, CBN will move some of the balances of banks in CBN to those banks in digital currency. We think that this is a novel idea, and we are not the first. We know the PBOC in China has unveiled theirs, and many other central banks are advanced stages of unveiling their own digital currency, and our own digital currency, which is tagged e-Naira, will certainly come into operation by the special grace of the Almighty by October, and we are working very hard for this.
To discuss these issues further, I'm now being joined on the news by Gospel Obele, who is the Chief Economist at Streetnomics Limited. Thank you for joining us on the news, Mr. Gospel. What do you make of CBN's decision to begin digital money in Nigeria? Do you think this initiative will thrive?
Yeah, hi, thank you for having me. Good evening once again. Yeah, I think it's a very good idea. It's very solid. It's about time that we got on the global narrative, all right, around monetary and financial sector development, and also enabling digital banking, digital inclusion, and digital economy. On one end, we see that this solution would help the banks and other support financial institutions as well as fintechs, all right, solidify the digital transitioning or the onboarding of the underbanked or underserved into the digital space firmly. So it holds a lot of prospect, all right, and as well as trying to manage for leakages around the crypto space and around the e-currency space. So it's a novel idea by the central bank, in my opinion.
Okay, now about the foreign exchange issue, after the central bank's ban of direct sale of foreign exchange to bureau de change operators, making forex exclusive to banks alone, do you think Nigerian banks will be able to meet up with the demands?
All right, before I answer this question, just a bit stretch on the previous question you asked, there are exemptions around that, the success of that initiative, all right? Central bank has to do more around support government around onboarding for digital, all right, and ensuring that the traditional to digital transitioning is properly done and it doesn't lead to more layers of leakages on the economy. Now, when coming back to the BDC question, quite honestly, I think that the central bank also, all right, has a very good intention, all right, with the BDC policy. However, my challenge hinges around the approach and action, or rather the approach and strategy around delivering its intention. All right, I think that the central bank greatly underestimates the market, the demand side of foreign exchange. All right, and how much of that part of the economy the bureau de change operators get to meet. All right, so I don't see the commercial banks initially being strategically positioned to meet that demand. First of all, secondly, I don't think they'll be able to meet the demand by the BDCs in the sense, because already the BDCs themselves have transited from just personal and business travel solutions FX solutions to some other interesting solutions. And that exists because the conventional banks are not positioned to strategically meet those needs of Nigerians in the sense. So currently, yes, a lot more needs to be done, all right, to meet demand.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gospel. Thank you for joining us on the news. We take a break here and return with Stock Market Review. The bull resurfaced to take charge of the floor of the exchange market on the last trading day of the week, as the all-share index was up by 0.16% to close at 38,547 basis points. Even with a 6% decline in the deals, the market turnover improved by 93% as 387 million units of shares valued at over 3 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,700 deals. Moving on now, the star for today was Transcorp conglomerate. It led 20 gainers as it recorded a 9 kobo increase. Ikeja Hotel was also part of gainers in the market today. On the flip side, however, that's our losers list. Land Africa and Adova, they came first on the losers table. They had a combined 1 naira 85 kobo loss. Even though it's a profitable way to end the week, we really hope that the market will maintain the positivity in the coming week. On the global scene, that's our FTSE, Dow Jones and the Nikkei. They are all in the red today. London's FTSE ended lower, weighed down by miners over concerns that rising coronavirus infections globally could derail economic growth. The Dow Jones, also in the same vein, fell following a gloom quarterly earnings from Amazon.com. Hopes of a steady post-pandemic rebound in the U.S. economy have put up benchmark index on course, but the rapid spread of the Delta variant and rising inflation have kept sentiment in check. Japan stocks also could not manage to keep its head above water at the close of trading today. That's why it's in the declining territory. That's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you very much, Abisola, for that update. On the foreign scene, 2 crew members, a Briton and Romanian, were killed when the petroleum products tanker managed by Israeli-owned Zodiac Maritime came under attack on Thursday off Oman's coast. Now, according to the London-based Zodiac, the attack in the Arabian Sea on the Mercer Strait, a Liberian-flagged Japanese-owned ship, was being investigated, describing the incident as suspected piracy. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, which provides maritime security information, has debunked the same. Well, up next is Entertainment Report.
Nollywood actress Mercy Aigbe has issued an ultimatum to her undisclosed partner on social media on how she would like to take a break from work. Taking to her Instagram page, the mom of 2 showed off her tired face and revealed that she had been filming and she needs to relax. On that note, the filmmaker issued a 48-hour ultimatum to her man, stating that she would declare herself single if he doesn't plan a Maldives vacation, stressing that if he fails to come through after the deadline, she would be single, searching and available to mingle. The president of the Swiss Boys Association has finally dropped the new single titled Mercy. The multi-talented musician reunited with his long-term ace producer, Sister Problem Kid, and released the song on Friday. It's the rapper's third output for the year, and it is coming after the remix of Squander. And that is all that we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment and now to sports, Nigerian athletes will be banned from taking part in the track and field events at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games staged a protest in Tokyo on Friday. The affected athletes expressed frustration at seeing their dreams of competing at the Olympics dashed by negligence on the part of Nigeria's Sports Ministry and Athletics Federation of Nigeria. According to a statement from the Athletics Integrity Unit, 10 Nigerian athletes were disqualified from participating participating in the ongoing tournament for not meeting the minimum testing requirements on the Rule 15 governing National Anti-Doping Federation. And it's a wrap on our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I am Folashade Ogrinde. Bye for now.